everybody, and welcome to 500 Open Tabs. I'm Kaveh.
And I'm Hannah Hillam, and today we have a very special guest with us. He is the creator of such comics as After the Gold Rush, Clovis, and Puck the Artist. He's also the organizer for the March of Science, which I didn't know. March for Science.
Yeah, sorry. That one. I'm not anymore. I was a founding member, but I've left.
Okay. Still.
You marched away.
He just kept marching. Didn't ever go back.
Yeah.
And he's also the host of the Plastic Please Use Our podcast. So please welcome to the show our friend and fellow con man, Miles Greb. Hi, Miles.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to see you. I normally see you like 2 or 3 times a year at random cities around the country. So
yeah. Yep. Last time was Seattle.
Yeah, which is my home turf. So.
Right.
That's right. We were in your stomping grounds. We went and got what were those noodles? We got really thick noodles. That was really fun.
I don't even remember.
Big Chinese ones, they're thick.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Remember we had to stand outside the place forever because a million people wanted to eat there, but we also wanted to eat there.
We did. We went inside and everyone was seemingly yelling. And
it's fine.
I look at Kaveh and he's like cuddled in the corner of the booth, like.
I have this thing where I forget to eat very often at conventions, and then until it's too late, and then I'm a zombie, as opposed to every other moment in my life.
That's why I always say Chicago Comic-Con is good because they just have hot dogs fucking all over. Like you can't escape the hot dogs. Like if you don't want a hot dog, you're fucked. But if you do, man, you're in Chicago, baby.
Did you, or like kind of okay pizza? I was just there. Yeah. Were you there?
No, I didn't go this year. No, I go like every other year.
Okay. It was fun. First time, it was really fun.
Yeah, it's a good show. Good show.
Yeah.
Good. Well, Miles, thank you for joining us on the show. The first question we always ask everybody is, are you a tab hoarder like us, or are you a normal person?
I'm a computer engineer, so I don't waste all my fucking RAM. I currently have like 11 open. So,
that's great.
Is that a lot for you?
Yeah, I dabble.
You did. You dabble. You microdose.
Yeah. With friends at a party, you open some tabs. But
well, thank you for coming onto the show with us today. As is the ritual, our guest is always the person to go first, and you've been kind enough to prep something for us, so we could just go ahead and get into it.
So the other day, they re-released the Phantom Menace, with the pod racing.
Yeah.
So I went and saw that, which because I love the pod races because they go which is an excellent sound, So we were leaving that movie, and my friends were all like, "Wow, we watched that when we were kids, and now it's 25 years old. Holy shit!" And we're like, "That Darth Maul fight scene was so good." And my friend's like, "It's the best fight scene ever." My other friend's like, "I beg to differ." And then we started talking about this movie called Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right.
What?
Right.
Wait. Wait. That's like one of the movies that he's like, you have to watch it. So I put it on the top of my list. And guess what? I haven't watched it.
So let's take you back to 1988, which was the year I was born. So it was a very important year in human history.
Me too. What month?
February.
Oh, January. I guess I win 1988.
Congratulations.
You won. That's the greatest battle in the history of the world.
Anyway, the highest grossing film that year was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which was, of course, an excellent movie that the people today could never fucking make because it's just too good, and that kind of beauty doesn't exist in this world anymore.
True.
So that was the highest grossing film. But if we go down on the list about 20 spots, we get to Land Before Time. So that's not it. We're not looking for that. If we go down another 20 more spots, we get to Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. Which not the film we're looking for yet. So we have to go down a little bit more. If we go down about 20 more spots, we get to I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, and then Poltergeist 3, and then My Stepmother's an Alien. But just below that.
Oh no.
Just below that is one of the greatest films of all fucking time, and literally the greatest film made with a man who is famous for doing splits.
Yes.
Bloodsport.
Really?
This is my favorite tab of all time already.
Yeah. So
I'm so excited.
Won him.
So if you watch Bloodsport, you'll get really good, like top level pecs, right? You'll get that.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get splits.
That's all that matters.
You'll get a kid who speaks like half Dutch, half Ontarian French style, who's wearing a San Francisco Giants hat and a NFL football Giants shirt.
Which I watched the movie.
makes friends with a nice old Asian fellow who was going to steal his sword, but then he had a little bit of Jiminy Cricket tell him not to do it, and so he is trained as a master, right? And then inevitably, as these situations go, he ends up fighting in an underground secret martial arts tournament called the Kumite.
Oh yeah.
And there's a song that goes Kumite, Kumite. It's really good. It's very, very good.
I wasn't going to steal it. That's my favorite line from the entire
So the thing is, you watch this movie, right? And it's like fucking rad, and you're having a great time. And there's like American guy who wears like the fucking like I'm American guy and a big beard, and he's just like, oh, I'm over here in Hong Kong, brother. And he's fighting with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And then the military is like, you can't go AWOL. You're our most special badass. We love you, man. Fight for America. And he's like, I will fight for America, but I'm Jean-Claude Van Damme, and I have to fight in the Kumite. And they're like, okay. And then there's this part where it's like a Mentos commercial where he runs away and they all fall in the water. And it's great. Yeah,
it's Forrest Whitaker, by the way, who's also chasing him.
Yeah, he's there.
Oh.
Yeah, his eyes
trying to get him to come fight. Yeah.
I don't ever want to watch another movie again unless it's Miles talking over the movie like he's doing right now. That's all I want.
Yeah. So and then this like okay looking American girl is there for some reason. And she's the love interest.
She's a reporter, which is I always say.
She's a reporter,
movies, and if you're a woman, you're always a reporter. That's what you're allowed to do with the boys.
Then she tries to cancel the fight to protect him, but then she doesn't cancel it. And it's fine, and she's there and she cheers him on. It's fine. It's fine. And then he fights this guy who has the largest pecs in the continent. Whoa. And and the guy's actually used to be in some Bruce Lee movies, the actor, but he's like fucking like 43 years old, but he looks like the fittest man alive.
He's jacked. Yeah. Half of his body is pecs.
And there's people from all over the world. There's sumo, there's Brazilian guys, it's very, very diverse fight in the darkness of Hong Kong. And then they fight, and the bad guy's like, oh, I don't believe in ethics. And so he's like, boom, salt in your face. And Jean-Claude Van Damme's like, I can't fucking see. But guess what? Because early in the movie, because they're excellent screenwriters, they set this up because he can fight without seeing. So fucking not really a big problem after all. And then
Shidoshi trained him that way.
And then he gets his ass, and he wins the fucking day, and he gets the moderately okay-looking American girl. And then he goes back to join the military, and then you're like, wow, what a movie. But then this thing comes on the screen, and it says, based on the true fucking story, really happened, actual life of Frank Dukes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, shit, I gotta crack open some tabs.
Oh my God, yes, we're gonna...
and we ain't talking about the drink from the 80s. We're talking about... No,
like
we're talking about...
Dukes, right?
Control plus T, motherfucker. All right? Right click, add new tab.
I'm just going to chime in with the occasional Bloodsport quote when it's relevant.
Yeah, and so I had to go check out my boy Frank Dukes, right? So
I don't know
got a little.
What to say.
Yeah, well, you say what you want. It's your show. I'm just here on your behest.
No, I know.
I'm living in it.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
Ba-da-bum-bum-bum. Okay.
Good plug.
I'm Frank Dukes.
Brought to you by McDonald's. And do not sponsor the show.
McDonald's, you can.
You can. I mean, we'll take your money.
Shamrock
I don't care.
Or whatever. Like,
it's fine.
We don't have any like shame or morals anymore. So
no, I mean, first of all, who can afford that?
Right.
Shame and morals? No, not me.
We're a bunch of people who are trying to sell comic books and comic strips. Technology from the 1930s. Okay, we're trying to sell that. So, like, we're doing our best. Anyway,
Halliburton.
Yeah. There was a guy in the basketball team I root for named Halliburton. It was always really strange.
That's not good.
No, he was. I don't think he was related to Dick Cheney. But yeah. Anyways,
whose middle name is famously Halliburton.
Dick Halliburton Cheney. Yeah.
You fucking know him.
He's a favorite.
What is happening? Anyways, long time ago. 1956.
You're on our podcast. That's what's happening is that much like RFK, you're now going to get worms in your brains as a result of talking to us.
Running for president straight up admits worms ate my brain.
He
can't even make jokes about it.
I want the worm to be the president. That's what I want. I want to vote for the worm.
Oh, all right.
No, that's a Kennedy I can get behind.
That's a Kennedy I can get behind. One controlled by a worm.
I don't even know what to say about the situation. It's just like I can't even comment on politics. It's just too fucking out there these days. Anyway, before this worm was probably ever born, in 19...
but not before we were Oh wait,
no.
yes, it was.
The key to good writing is you have to set things and pay them off, right? So,
of course.
And yeah, in 1956, this motherfucker was born in the northern hellscape of ice known as Toronto, Canada, right? But 10 years later, thankfully, his family went to a proper, strong country, America. He moved to LA, and he happened to meet this guy named Shinzo Tanaka, also known as the Tiger, right?
It's the real Tanaka.
He was a world famous teacher of 40 generations of warriors.
Whoa.
What?
Which is a lot. I don't know how they're using that word generations, if that means like hundreds of years, but it's a lot of warriors, right? So he's good. That's what you should take away from that. He was so advanced that Tanaka's like coming, his birth, and his prowess was actually foretold by Rasputin himself.
What?
And he fought in the Russian-Japanese War, which is an interesting war because Japan kicked Russia's ass, and Russia did not expect that. So that's a whole nother tab for another episode. But later in World War II, he was so outrageous and didn't care about the rules that even like Imperial World War II Japan kicked him out because like he was not doing it by the book. Right?
They don't just do that. Wow.
No, you know, World War II Japan.
The World War II was like, you're too
much
of a rogue.
Whoa, buddy. So if you know much about World War II Japan, that might surprise you. But that's why he got the name the Tiger, right? He didn't get the name the Tiger because he likes stripes. He's a motherfucker. So he met him and trained with him, right? There's two versions of the story. I'm not sure which one's true. Who knows which things are true? He claims that he was like watching. So our guy little Frank Dukes, right? 13 right now. He's like looking through windows, watching people do judo at night, but he couldn't go in, And then the one judo master like saw him, and then he like was like, oh, maybe I'll teach you. And then he's like, I've learned all the techniques through watching through the window. And he's like, wow, you're amazing. I can't believe you're so good. And so they like teach him and like the black fucking tiger dragon arts to teach him that shit.
Yeah.
That's the one version of the story. Yeah, and the other version is that he tried to steal the sword and then didn't steal the sword, and then he was taught. I'm not sure which one is real. Who knows? But both those stories are out there. Anyways,
I'll say both.
A few years later, when he's 16, 1970, Shinzo takes Duke to Japan to train with the legendary warriors in the land of Musada.
So he's just this dude just takes this kid to Japan with him?
It's fine.
It was the 70s. Kids were going with adult men all the time.
Listen, he's teaching them
kind of
martial sciences.
Never coming back.
Yeah.
That's from the movie as well.
Hey, kid. Oh, see, I'm just going to nod.
Kumite. So sometime around these parts, he said that he would have to train with live weapons, right? He's like a 13, 14-year-old kid, and he's fighting with real swords and stuff. Probably pretty cool swords, too, I imagine.
I was going to say, this is like my dream at 13, 14.
He had to fight. He had to fight a green beret. Had to take him down. They would like tie like sticks to his legs and make it so he couldn't like walk as well, and then he'd have to like run from wild animals, probably ones with claws, I imagine.
For sure,
like a pig or something,
or a boar.
Yeah, well, a boar would fuck you up, because boar rhymes with gore, so that's how you know you're fucked.
That's how you know. Also, it's killed a lot of. They kill a lot of people.
They do.
Yeah, I watched Princess Mononoke.
Oh yeah.
But then eventually he ends up calling out the entire ninja clan, right? Calls them out, says fucking you're on notice, and they fight. And he wins. Good job. And so he becomes a ninja.
This is literally the story of Batman, where he's fighting Ra's al Ghul.
Sadly, though, 5 years later, when they go back to California, Tanaka ends up being found dead.
What?
And he gets buried by the ninja clan in California. One of them that they have there.
Where is he? I got to find the grave.
Yeah, where's his grave? Where is he buried in the ground?
So in 1975, Frank Dukes, our man, the ninja master, the prodigy, he begins serving in the Marine Corps Reserves, right? And he obtains the rank of Lance Corporal. His official records show him having served about 130 days of active duty in the role of a wireman. So a few years later, in 1978, he fulfills Tanaka's dying wish to go fight in the Kumite.
Oh.
Right? So the Kumite is this underground secretive martial arts tournament that the movie Bloodsport is based on, right? This is like the inspiration for like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, even like UFC. Like a lot of people grew up watching this Bloodsport movie, which detailed the real, absolutely, seriously true events of Bloodsport and the Kumatai.
100% fact.
This is insane.
Yeah.
I have to keep my hands right here because all I want to do is search every single name you're saying right now.
Well, hold up. Don't. I wouldn't suggest
I
that.
know. That's why I'm. Go on.
That's good. Be good. Be a good Christian. So this particular Kumatai was held in the Bahamas, right? So Frank Dukes competed, and in this tournament, you'd have to do 20 fights a day, and they were 1 knockout fights, and 3 fights would be going on at the same time. So very serious, extremely secretive fights. Now
it's like a festival.
Yeah,
it's like Coachella.
So Dukes achieved an incredible record of 56 KOs in this tournament. And he had the fastest ever knockout in 0.12 seconds. Also having the fastest kick of all time.
What?
And he was the first. He ends up winning the event. He wins the Kumatai, and he's the first ever Westerner to do so. And he continues to do this several years in a row, totaling a record of 329-0.
Ooh.
So
he
he's
never
like
lost.
No, he's the fucking Joe Montana of white guys kicking. Like he's
cow.
incredible. Yeah, and he's said, I discovered my own method, my own way, my own style. Nobody has ever seen it before, and nobody understood it. So he's fucking a prodigy and a genius. So later on, in 1980, he also writes some documents for some magazines calling himself the Chameleon due to his ability to like master disguises, right? And you can see all these photos of him that he has. He's really good at it. For example, things that he thought of that people like us would never think of: wearing a mustache.
Oh, genius.
Glasses.
Dark glasses.
A big fake nose with a mustache.
Hair different.
Oh, dye hair.
Now, he also did this maneuver. Puff out your cheeks. Makes your face look different. So these are strategies he thought of.
Hold on. Does it explain why he's the master of disguise? Like,
what's going on?
It's not
why
important.
is he disguising himself?
It's not important. It absolutely is. Okay.
It's just like an extra bit of color to his life where he's like,
so
by
he
the way, I'm
also
also
wrote
the best at
articles
disguises.
for Black Belt magazine, which I'm sure was fucking rocking in the 80s. You get Black Belt magazine, you're a fucking cool guy. So he wrote several articles giving advice on knife fighting.
Amazing.
I want to read these articles.
Me too.
Yeah, and talking about all the different fighting techniques he learned when he was in Southeast Asia. He often says Southeast Asia instead of listing a specific country, which is cool because, he's like a no borders kind of guy, right?
Sure,
Yeah.
He also mentioned that he had several black belts in schools that he couldn't mention, including Taekwondo, which is a normal one.
But okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not fake at all.
Okay, and then in 1981, after all this, he leaves the Marine Corps Reserves.
He's still in the Marines. Okay, all right.
During all that, he was in the Marines. Yeah. And so then several years later, in 1988, Bloodsport is made, right? So Jean-Claude Van Damme and all the studios come in, they buy the script from him, they check out his life, check out his stories, and they're like, it's legit, real. They make Bloodsport. Again, it's not one of the highest grossing movies of the year, but it becomes a cult classic because they got a song that goes, Kumatai, Kumatai. And there's good kicks, and people throw salt at each other, and men got giant pecs.
Big old.
Just fucking what the hell. And John Claude Van Damme
does bricks too. Don't forget too. That's the other.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really funny scene when the American guy who's like, I'm the American guy with the American guy, and he's like tries to do the brick break, right? The dim mock, the fucking fist move, and so John Claude Van Damme, he like hits the thing and hits the brick down here, right? He's like, oh, I can send my shockwave through the bricks. American guy tries to do it, and the brick doesn't break, so he picks it up. He's like, look, not a scratch on it, which is they do a great joke in the movie, really good. You should watch it.
You had to be there.
No, if you saw it, you'd be like, that was a great joke Miles brought up. I didn't get it, and that was on me.
It is on me. I'll watch it later.
I do that
laugh.
all the time. Don't worry. Yeah.
Things go over my head every single episode.
I do this every episode. I'll reference some movie that Hannah's never even heard of.
It's bad.
Yeah.
After Bloodsport came out, we learned some extra interesting things about Frank Dukes' life. Sometime in the 80s, he was also awarded several medals for his military service, including the Silver and Bronze Star and the Purple Heart.
Oh.
Also the Medal of Honor.
What?
And his Medal of Honor, he was given in secret, which is the first time this has ever happened.
Right.
And it was for performing covert operations in Laos, which is a country that we were engaged in illegally in the late 60s, early 70s during the Vietnam War.
We did some pretty horrible things there.
Did some crimes. Yeah, and so he He performed those missions in Laos and then escaped and had some shrapnel pulled out of his back, so he was awarded the Purple Heart for that. Also, he tracked down a serial killer.
Who?
In like 1982. And this serial killer was
Richard
actually
Ramirez.
He was recruited. You may not have heard this guy. He was recruited by local restaurants, to track down and kill street kids who were hanging outside of restaurants, making them look trashy.
That's so Reagan era. I love it.
Yeah, very Reagan.
100%.
And so Frank Dukes was not into this, so he tracked the guy down and took him out.
Whoa.
So, yeah. He also, in 1982, destroyed a Russian bioweapon that was going to target people based on race. So Frank Dukes, friend of the poor, anti-racist. Did some war crimes in Laos.
Potential war criminal. Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, people are complicated. And, you know, as we explore values on the left and become more progressive, it's important that we understand that people are complicated. Sometimes you will find war crimes in Laos on the record, and your immediate reaction might be disgust, but hey.
No, he also probably released like an hour-long YouTube apology video that was also never seen by the public.
But he's crying, okay, don't do war crimes?
In Laos specifically, but be nice to that area. Yeah,
be nice to our Laotian friends.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, just listen. This is real.
I don't know if it is. Is it really? Did he do these things?
So in 1993...
Clearly, he also didn't sleep for 30 years.
And in 1993, he ended up attending the second annual Dhaka Martial Arts Trade Show. They're a kickboxer that he had hired to like work some of his schools and stuff, because he actually had like karate dojos that he was running in the valley. This guy hadn't been paid by him, apparently, and so the kickboxer targeted him and beat him up pretty badly. Several UFC fighters were there who also engaged in the fight with Dukes. Dukes, however, claims that the kickboxer sucker punched him with brass knuckles, and that's the only reason why he won.
Naturally.
This event was recorded by several different news people. However, all this information is lost to us, lost to history, lost media. Just like the Kumites themselves, which were recorded by 16 different cameras using the high-speed technology at the time, so they could like track the kick speeds and everything, which is how Frank Dukes got his fastest kick guy record. But all this tape is lost to history. Later in 1993, he went over to France and performed in a large arena, smashing bottles and breaking bulletproof glass and bricks and stuff in a cool gi. And
I want to go to that.
Yeah, the French loved it, and it was great. And they probably ate some nice food after with cream.
Oh, probably.
In 1996, he claims that he was offered $25,000 to assassinate Steven Seagal, but he declined, however, because he doesn't do that kind of thing anymore.
That's the first real disappointment, other than the war crimes, I have to say.
Other than next to the war crimes.
Yeah. Next to the war crimes are definitely the worst, but right below that. Could have taken out Seagal, and he didn't.
So he starts doing a media circuit in 1996, going on like talk shows and like late night and like Ricky Lake type shows. You remember Ricky Lake?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he publishes The Secret Man, which details exploits in his life that we didn't know and didn't appear on my timeline yet, including meeting with the CI director, William J. Casey, who recruited him in a urinal.
Hey.
You know, you can imagine how that happened. It doesn't have to be penis related, but you know, we can all hope that it is.
Just like, hey, you're packing. You want to be part of this top secret?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was sent on a covert mission to Nicaragua, and he destroyed a chemical weapons plant in Iraq. So,
did they base the game Contra on his exploits in Nicaragua? Is that sort of what it is too?
A lot of things are based on Fred Dukes, not like
Frank Dukes.
Whoever this guy is. We can't be sure.
His name's not even Dukes.
We don't know who he actually is.
So the thing about this guy, he starts getting at this point kind of cornered and asked about evidence for these things, right?
Yeah.
So people start that there's a picture of him with his medals. For example, he's wearing medals from like one's from the Army and one's from the Marines, right? And then also like there has never at this point in history known to us been a secret Medal of Honor winner.
Yeah.
Right. But I guess if it is secret, you can't know. So that's the conspiracy theorist
the whole point.
Ultimate tactic, right? So he says, okay, yeah, the medals were off. That's because I was wearing a funny Halloween costume in that picture everybody's talking about, because I thought it'd be funny to have the different medals on, like a joke, inside joke. So obviously that clears that up.
Between him and the CIA, yeah.
People continue to ask, well, no one else has ever spoken about these Kumite events. We're trying to get information on these. Obviously, a lot of people competed in them. He's like, oh, I have a sword that I got for winning it. Very special sword. They're like, awesome. Cool. Show us the sword. He says, well, I can't show you the sword.
Naturally.
And they're like, okay, why? What happened? I'm going to read what he wrote because I don't want to change any of the words.
Oh, beautiful.
I can't show you the sword right now because I sold my sword. I have no regrets for it. It went for a good cause. It went to buy kids out of slavery who were on a pirate ship. What they do is these local chiefs, if you are on like Medio and some stuff, like these kids, they're orphans. And they put them on these ships and they go out in the South China Sea. These ships were crowded and uncomfortable. I'm talking what we call like a normal bunk. They have half of that. They have 4 or 5 kids squeezed into these things. They live out there in the open elements and they die. And that Filipino government, they turn a blind eye to it. Oh. So I took up arms and I fought the boat pirates and I got these kids free. Many of them are now in the United States. I'm in touch with some of them and they love me to death. And I'll tell you, I've got one kid who's about 15 years old. All I have to do is look cross-eyed at some guy, and he'd kill for me.
Oh.
Is that word for word?
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy's a giant liar, right?
Yeah, badass. He's a giant
let's
badass.
Let's back up here. Why does he need to look cross-eyed in order to indicate, instead of just like looking with his eyes to somebody like, hey,
you're gonna feel embarrassed now because he's blind now, actually.
He's blind.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's blind. He had brain tumors in his head. They had to take him out.
Is he actually blind, or is this another thing that he's just making up?
He apparently had brain tumors in his head that were taken out in the late 90s, and he's blind, I think. But he can fight blind, so it's not really a problem.
Right, he can still do that, right? That was the whole plot point of
literally Daredevil.
Sport. Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's Daredevil and Batman mixed together.
Also, in the 80s, a newspaper went and tried to talk to him about the large trophy he got for winning some of the Komitai stuff, too. Mm-hmm. And apparently, the local trophy company says that they made the trophy.
Oh.
And, but no, listen, that's him supporting his local creators, okay? He was like, good, you can give me the solid gold trophy in the Bahamas, but I insist that it's going to be made by somebody in the Valley so I can bring that money back. Because
he's an American,
Exactly. American made.
So I'm a little confused here because some of the things I'm reading seem to contradict the things I told you before. So I don't know. So like I have this part in my notes that says that they did some Freedom of Information acts in his military career, and it says he was never deployed overseas.
There it is.
Yeah, there that he worked in America and was never injured, never went to war. He did fall off a truck. That happened. He fell off a truck.
Hero.
Yeah, and he had a psychological evaluation that said he was prone to, I don't understand this, but it says flights of fancy. I don't.
Who among us,
I don't know. I don't even know what that means. So yeah, this some weird contradicting information here. And apparently, like, he would have been like 9 years old during the war in Vietnam. So it does seem unlikely that he fought there. But he said he did.
He's small. He could have just snuck in and people wouldn't see him as easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Agent Orange or small children. What plan are we going to go with? What saves money? So yeah, this guy, Mr. Dukes, Mr. Bloodsport, he lived an interesting life, a true life, a life of all these things. The story kind of ends up with him trying to make another movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and then he was like dating his sister-in-law, and then like they sue each other over rights for the movie, and then they're not friends no more. Friendship ended with Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is very sad.
Well,
they make several Bloodsport sequels that have nothing to do with him, and I've never seen. No one's ever seen.
No.
Yeah, I would never watch the sequels. No.
Mm-mm. Yeah, because they probably don't have the Kumatai
song
in it, which is important to me.
It's
and so this is the. I mean, some people call him like the greatest liar in martial arts, the fake martial arts champion. Who knows? Maybe it's real. Just like Bigfoot, it's real.
It's
He's story real things.
I'm gonna choose to believe that it's real.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely not. And
No.
it'd be really silly to go on a podcast and say you believe it. That'd be pretty embarrassing.
About halfway through that story, I was like, no.
I don't know.
But you did great, dude.
Oh, thanks.
Took me on a trip right there.
Yeah. So, basically, he's still alive. And
he's still alive.
In fact, there was a really big lineage breakup of a big dojo in California recently where like one master is retiring, another guy's going thin the thing, and they're trying to figure out who's the proper successor. And he like pops in on Facebook and says like, I'm fucking Frank Dukes. I'm the highest ranking
on
white
Facebook. Kicking
man of all fucking time. I'm going to settle who should be in charge of doing flips and shit. And everyone's like, bro, that's none of this shit's real.
They're like, who are you?
Well,
they know who he is because he won't shut up about himself. Right?
Sure.
Everybody knows he is. He's the true man behind Bloodsport, brother. You know, like, I mean.
That's true.
See, if he just never gives in and never says he's lying, hey.
Yeah.
Great.
That's the Donald Trump method.
That's
just
right
keep
there.
stacking them.
That's
just
most
keep
media these
stacking
days.
them, baby.
Never back down.
Never back down. Yeah, that is king.
So did they resolve that? Did they figure out who the master was going to be that took over that dojo?
I don't give a shit.
We don't know.
I
didn't know if his weighing in actually like affected it one way or another.
I don't know. I only care about Frank Dukes. So that's our guy. That's our guy. You know, very interesting person, a true American.
In every sense.
The thing is, he's probably actually moderately decent at martial arts. You know, and could have just been like ran a dojo. Like he could kick.
I was gonna say, is he actually good at martial arts?
I am not a martial arts expert. I've seen all the Karate Kid movies, and I've seen all the new series of Karate Kid.
You're an expert.
And so I feel qualified to say, you know, he's like a 5 out of 10.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Hey, like the guy, like right now, I don't think he's good because he's like old and blind.
Right.
Which again, maybe is actually not a problem because he can fight blind.
Age
his advantage.
Some kind of ist. You know, there's a lot of ists these days. But yeah, he was probably pretty good. He's pretty good. You know, like he could afford like a condo with his schools from his kicking ability. Like
it's more than I can afford.
A car, occasional trips to Quiznos or whatever was around in his day.
Quiznos,
he could have gone to
Quiznos.
such places. There's actually a Quiznos like where I live. Isn't that fucking amazing? Like,
what's with Seattle and having Fred Meyer and Quiznos and like things that went out of business 25 years ago in the
dream
rest
of the
States.
90s, you know, is alive.
It's alive in Seattle. It's not Portland anymore.
Seattle,
Well, Portland's always copying our shit. They're just fucking down.
Oh, I know.
You know?
They're like, we need to be anyway. Yeah, no, I was like up there, and I'm like, why are these stores I haven't seen in 20 years still around?
Yeah. We're living in the past, baby.
Fred Meyer's great. I went there. It's solid.
I get the Boars.
I don't even know what Fred Meyer's
cheese
is.
and meat sandwiches for
Yeah,
like $7.
it's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Safeway, they're way more than that.
What is Fred Meyer's? Is it a sandwich place?
It's like a
It's
grocery
fancy
store.
Walmart. It's like
fancy Walmart.
What
yes.
if you went to Walmart but there was no pajama bottoms?
Where is this? Where was it originally?
In
Is it
Washington,
Utah
there's
or
always
something?
pajama bottoms.
It's the Great Northwest.
Yeah, I saw it in
Okay.
Utah. We had it in Utah. I remember somebody like got their engagement ring from there. They had like a jeweler counter that people like would actually go to. Fred Meyer, fancy Walmart. Who is Fred Meyer?
That's my story. I hope it's an appropriate story for your show.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes.
I've only listened to 3
we're not just
episodes of your
saying
show,
this.
but I tried to get it good.
We're not just saying this. I have mentioned Bloodsport multiple times throughout this.
Like this is like the 4th
series.
mention of Bloodsport.
It's great. It's really great.
He talks about it all the time, off
so
camera
good.
too.
The
Dude
thing with
loves
Bloodsport is it's a terrible script, but it hits every single beat that it needs to.
That's why it's funny
to be like a proper like Hollywood success. So it works. It's functionally a very good movie. It's just like terrible. That's what makes it so fun.
Yeah, because you're sitting there like, why am I watching this shit? You're like, man, I hope that guy beats that guy. Fuck, we gotta get him.
That's what I'm saying. It's
like, oh,
functionally very good. It hits
like,
all the things that you're supposed to have for screenwriting.
Yeah,
that's why it's so fascinating.
And the bad guy's pecs are so monstrous. You're like,
They're
we have
massive.
to take him down. There's some kind of thing going on there. Can't let that go around.
Also, I love that you mentioned the Giants hat and the jersey, which I always say would be the best Halloween costume of all time, is if you wore that. And if someone recognized you in a crowd and knew what it was from, I'd be like, you're my best friend forever now. And it's also, I think, the first movie that makes Jean-Claude Van Damme like a star, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like that's the first film.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the man does the splits, a montage where he just does the splits. It's the whole fucking montage. They also like have him in some weird S&M rope type situation where they make him do the splits.
I zoned out and came right back in at that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good looking guy. Nice. I don't know if he'd be very attentive like in a relationship, but for a night or two, he can do some stuff.
He can get enough, yeah. Enough.
Yeah.
Fred Meyer, by the way, was a real dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
I'm like Fred Dukes.
Extra tab.
Fred Meyer was a dope guy. He had tons of money, and then he gave all of it away.
Shit, I don't have none of that.
Me neither.
Did he give it away to kids who were like on pirate ships that he saved?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't give away a sword that okay, my man.
He's not that good of a guy.
Right? Was trained by a guy prophesized by Rasputin. Uh-huh. Right?
So was Fred Meyer.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
We can't prove that Fred Meyer didn't also compete in the Kumite.
He was there.
Okay, well, fine. You got me then. I give up.
Look, this is a podcast. Everything we say is true.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Miles, you look so defeated.
No. Hello, friends. Hannah and I would like to ask you for help, so hold on to your butts. All you have to do is go to nebula.tv/500open-tabs and sign up for Nebula, where they have exclusives like Jurassic Park Turns 30 from my former musical splitting co-host, Lindsay Ellis. In this video, Lindsay deep dives into Steven Spielberg's classic by breaking down the movie, the book, its impact on culture, and whether life truly finds a way. Like many kids who came of age in the 90s, Jurassic Park was my absolute jam. So combining that with Lindsay's video essay skills made me feel more at home than Dr. Ellie Sattler, elbow deep in a giant pile of Triceratops doo-doo. You can find this video and dozens of other high-production originals on Nebula, a video streaming platform built by and for creators. And of course, I'm contractually obligated to tell you that subscribers get a special feed to listen to this show ad-free, spared no expense. But even if you could, perhaps you should stop to think if you should. Go to nebula.tv/500open-tabs and get 40% off an annual subscription. By signing up, you can support other creators like Maggie Mayfish, Princess Weeks, and many more. Remember, sign up at nebula.tv/500open-tabs. Otherwise, Hannah and I will be consumed whole by a gigantic T-Rex while we're on the can, thus denying us our lifelong dreams of being buried in the bog.
My podcast, by the way, the Plastic Plesiosaur podcast, is about debunking myths or exploring myths and mysteries in history and archaeology. And we talk about the true stories behind cryptids.
Oh,
you should go listen to it, everybody.
Yeah.
That's really awesome because that is almost exactly what my tab is about today.
Ooh, smooth transition.
Thank you. It's not about cryptids, but it's about debunking a myth. Yeah, so my tab is on what is something that is known as the Fata Morgana. Have you heard of... Yeah, Miles knows what Fata Morgana is,
I have no idea.
right?
Is this from like Dune 2 or something?
Sounds like it.
No. Although I can talk about Dune 2.
Oh. Should we do a Dune podcast now?
I wrote a Dune comic book.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, Dune to Train the Faithful. You should Google it. It's very well received by everyone but Brian Herbert. He did not like it.
Who cares?
Who cares what that guy thinks?
Brian Herbert sucks. So I'm saying
bummer.
It's fine. Frank Herbert good, but
Frank Herbert good, Brian bad. Fred good. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I was going to go on a tangent. Talk.
No, I want to hear it.
Don't listen to me.
Tangent. This show's on
a
tangent.
Do it. This show's not about opening tabs. It's about detailed stories in order.
Miles, it is about opening tabs.
Now we insist.
I won't do it. I have principles. I'm like Frank Dukes. I stand by what's right in the fight.
Yep. All right. You're the Frank Dukes of podcasting. All right. Fata Morgana. All right.
Exclusively recording in splits for hours at a time.
He's in splits right now.
Yeah. You guys can't see it. I guess you can, but yeah. Leia Organa. What did you say?
Yeah. Leia Organa. No.
Please no Star Wars talk.
Oh, you don't like Star Wars?
I have a rule. I don't talk about Star Wars on podcasts.
You just
did. Sure.
So, just respect my boundaries. That's all I ask.
Yeah, I apologize for not respecting your boundaries. Fata Morgana.
Fata Morgana.
Fata Morgana is a type of mirage that you see on the ocean. And
okay.
I started reading this article called Fantastically Wrong, The Bizarre Mirages That Once Scared the Bejesus Out of Sailors. And it was written by Matt Simon in 2015 for Wired magazine. So it is behind a paywall. I didn't realize that because we do have a Wired subscription, but if you can have one free article a month. Go read this one.
Someone's rich with their Wired subscription. Getting down from our ivory tower.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
You're going to trust someone that both reads articles and pays for them?
And
like,
pays
what's
for
up?
them?
What
Pays to keep journalism alive? Yeah, no, I'm the bad one. Okay, I'm so
I have
derailed.
a journalism award, you know.
What?
I ran the school paper in college and high school. And I have a shirt from it, but I can't wear the shirt anymore on account of peanut butter cups and time.
Oh, no.
Are we flexing high school awards? Because I got a journalism award in high school, too.
Oh, my gosh. I got a
There's
Shakespeare award.
Yeah. Oh, holy shit. Coolest kids in the school.
I performed Shakespeare second best in the state. So
hell yeah.
That. Woo! Wow. Look at us, nerds.
Yeah,
okay.
We're so proud.
Oh, yeah. Fata Morgana. Okay, so the article begins with an Italian Jesuit priest named Father. Oh yeah, don't worry. Remember, the Jesuits aren't the creepy ones, right?
Fuck. Oh, they're all creepy to me.
Oh, for sure, but these ones are the least creepy, in my opinion. Okay. We'll pass judgment on the priest after we hear what he has to say.
Afterwards, yeah.
Let him speak.
Let this dude speak. His name's Fauner. I'm a mess right now.
Fauner.
Father Domenico.
He's fawning over everything.
I'm gonna kill you. Father Domenico Giardina, and he's from Italy, and it was in 1643, and he's like chilling, doing whatever like Jesuit priests do. Which let's not even. I wish I could take that back. And glances at the horizon of the ocean, and he sees what looks like a city floating above the sea.
Yeah, because of what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. End of story.
End of story.
City in the ocean.
Tab is over. So my tab.
Like, whoa. Yeah, what do you got to talk about? You guys with the worst. So here's what he says. Let me get through this. He says, he freaked out and said, I see a city all floating in the air, and so measureless and so splendid, so adorned with magnificent buildings, all of which was found on a base of luminous crystal, which sounds pretty dope. And then he goes on to describe that it turns quickly into a garden, and then quickly into a forest, and then quickly into an army rushing out. And then it goes away completely. He was like, what the hell was that? It's not the first time or the last time somebody would see this floating city, because this is what they call the Fata Morgana. And it's something when you look at the horizon of the ocean and there's an object on the horizon, there's a mirage that happens that reverses it and makes it look taller than it actually is, to the point where you can't even see. Here, I'm going to send you a picture. It's really hard to explain, turns out. And they end up looking like floating ships.
Whoa. Speaking of Star Wars, it literally does just look like
a flying
ship.
A Lando system.
It looks like a flying ship above the ocean. So
yeah, they can repeat.
They can repeat, and other examples of the Fata Morgana have been showing up all over the place. Like, have you ever heard of the tale of the Flying Dutchman? That boat.
Yeah, of course.
That was in Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah. Well, so these sailors have been reporting seeing this Flying Dutchman boat for like hundreds of years. This ghostly apparition on the horizon, and people are like, "Yeah, that's definitely just a mirage." But it freaked everybody out, and it was like a sign of bad luck. And Fata Morgana is Italian for Morgan the Fay, which is like an Arthurian fairy legend. Have you heard of her?
She's the main bad guy from the Arthurian legends.
Yes, and she originally started out as like just like a kind of amorphous fairy type creature, and then they put her in Arthurian legends as Arthur's half sister, who like wants to kill him.
Yeah, because you got the French versions and the Welsh versions.
Yes, exactly. The Welsh versions do not have Morgan Le Fay in them, and they don't have Lancelot either, and they're better.
No, the French add more sex.
They add way more sex, and the Welsh add just a lot of death.
Yeah, well, that's how.
I mean, come on, look at it.
That's the way she goes.
A lot of death. Anyway, so they're called the Fata Morgana because they look like castles in the sky that she would live in. Yeah. Or like an underwater lair that has they say that she trapped her lover under there, and he's so bored from being immortal that he just like puts on these shows on the horizon, when really it's just a boat or an island. It can be an island too. But everyone's like, it's Morgan. And these goes back thousands of years. Like there's a report from like the 2nd century from some Greek guy who was like, there's definitely a city in the sky, and everyone's like, definitely. But later they're like, oh, actually, maybe there's some science behind this. Let's kind of like not blame it on, superstition and magic.
Good job, Greeks.
Yeah.
They did a lot of that. Like they knew it wasn't like magic. Yeah, good job. Hey, I know you hate the Greeks, but listen, they did okay.
I don't hate the Greeks.
Wow.
We talked about it the other day. Okay, never mind.
We're talking about ancient Greece stealing everything from ancient Persia. Let's clarify so that people don't think I'm just like this.
You're right.
Racist against Greek people.
I heard it.
So, I guess I'm not doing good. Okay, I'm gonna explain what a Fata Morgana is and how it works. Okay.
All right. I want you to know that I believe in you. I mean, you got like second place at saying Shakespeare good in high school, and so you're ready for this.
Thank you. Fata Morgana. So here's how it works. So instead of it actually being a floating boat or whatever, it all has to do with like the way heat rises. So a traditional mirage is when you're like in the desert and it's hottest closest to the ground, and it gets cooler, which turns it into like this mirroring effect.
Yeah,
this is the opposite.
Traditionally, you're in the desert and you see the oasis, and then your tongue goes out and your eyes go big.
Yep.
And you do the thing with your legs, and then you run to the water, and then it's not there. That's traditionally what happens with a mirage.
That's scientifically backed. What happens with a mirage? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm derailing your show with my jokes. I apologize.
No, that's what we do. I'm just letting you derail for once because I'm usually the one to derail. I'm allowing the guests to do the derailing.
It's
Don't
interesting because
apologize.
I think I'm not, it's like, oh, I got to derail Miles now.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. I've tried. It doesn't work. Okay, so
I trained my mind as Frank Dukes did by learning his story. So I am fucking ready to go.
All right, so there's an inversion layer in the atmosphere. I'm going to get through this angrily. So the sun heats the atmosphere, but the layer of cold air near the water stays cold. So it's all hot, and then cold, and then water, right? And if there's a boat, I'm going to kill you, Miles. If there's a boat on the horizon, we won't see it because cold air is dense and light does not travel fast through cold air. It travels fast through thinner air, which is hot air. Not thinner.
Okay, I'm following. Yeah.
Lower density air.
Less dense material, yep.
Less dense material. So while we're looking, our eye line is getting bent upward into the hotter air layers. And so we start seeing the thing on the horizon pushed up onto these hot layers. And it stays like that as long as those layers are still intact, which is why it changes so quickly, because it'll start getting all weird and wacky and like turn into a city and then turn into like a church and then turn into a boat again. And then it'll just dissipate because all the winds are mixing all the air together. And that's a Fata Morgana. And I have to say this like I'm angry or else I won't get through it.
I feel like this anger is directed at me personally.
It's not.
I'm just sitting here like, I'm sorry.
No, it's not you at all. It's like here's what it is. If I feel like clouded and messed up, I have to get through it with rage, or else I won't. It's not you.
That was a pretty good explanation, though. That was really interesting. That the way that the layers all work, and it supports your theory that you've been telling me off camera about the Earth actually being flat and not round.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I was in an airplane and I saw it.
Yeah,
it's flat.
Actually, probably wouldn't. Actually, probably it's the other way around, because you wouldn't have the curvature, so you wouldn't get as many layers of different air.
Witchcraft.
No, sounds, I know. I didn't say that the Earth is round because of like physics or some bullshit.
It's definitely not.
It's round because witches prefer round things.
They do.
It's true.
They just
it's
do.
It's not as pointy. It doesn't hurt.
And so they made it round. It's not because of fucking science.
The witches who made the Earth made it round because they like round objects. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And Frank Dukes is completely legit. Okay.
Correct.
Is his name Frank or Fred?
Yeah, Frank Dukes.
Meyer.
Frank Dukes.
All right. So if you want to see one of these,
we don't even.
Fred Dukes is actually Frank Dukes' brother.
We don't know anything. Okay.
You got the two Dukeses, man. You want the Deuce Dukeses.
One started an upscale Walmart. The other one, Dukes.
Yeah, Dukes. The fucking flying Dukesman. That's no mirage.
The flying Dukesman.
That goes around saving kids from other flying pirate ships. Perfect.
Yep.
We did it.
Yeah.
Bing.
There it is.
I'm texting Pixar right now. We got your next fucking.
Oh, you got their number? Tell them I hated Finding Nemo.
I won't tell them that.
Tell them.
Why would you say that?
I think Dory's miscast, and I think the whole thing's annoying. So
Oh my god!
Well, while we're getting angry,
I like how that movie is like one of the most failed films of all time. Like from an execution standpoint. Yeah, because this is what the premise of the movie is. Hey, kid, you want the fish to be home and to not be a little fucker and ruin his life. And the response was massive increase of kids being little fuckers and taking clownfish away from their families. So like the input and output is like so desperate. Like it has to be like the most failed attempt at telling a story of all time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and if I got lost in the ocean with Ellen DeGeneres,
you ain't never coming out.
I'm never. Yeah. I would just.
I'd bury myself under the dirt of the ocean.
I'd be finding the trench down to Mariana.
I'd go all the way to Mariana's
I'd fly into a shark's mouth directly.
You're like, kill me. Okay.
Please, just end it.
All right. So, do you want to see one of these floating ships?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's what you got to do. Go to the places where they appear most, which is like the Strait of Messina in Italy, or like the North Pole or the South Pole, and you gotta
go there. What the fuck?
Well, why not? We'll all go together.
I live by the ocean.
Oh, you're right. So do I.
But it doesn't happen here in California. Apparently, it doesn't happen on the West Coast. Oh, it does. Okay, where?
Yeah.
West Coast is best coast, so
it is.
Yes,
Santa Cruz. It happens in Santa Cruz.
Of course, it happens in Santa Cruz. Yeah,
everything does. Of course.
Something in the water. People who visit, they're like, "What's with this city?" And I'm like, I can't even begin to explain. I don't.
Classic Santa Cruz.
It is the weirdest place on earth.
What happened is Santa Cruz got like a big high on like ska music in like 1998, and then hasn't found a way to like recapture that since. And so everybody's just like looking for the next thing, but there's no next thing.
Ska.
You know, because like ska music tastes like your first bite of like a mozzarella cheesesteak. You know,
yes,
you're never getting that high back. So
I used to want to be in a ska band because I play the saxophone.
I know. I didn't know. Like you haven't told me that, but I knew that. You know.
Yeah. You just felt it. It was just like...
Well, you're from Santa Cruz.
I'm not from Santa Cruz.
You are there. That's all that matters.
What's happening? I'm not in Santa Cruz.
I thought you said you were in Santa Cruz.
No. The Fata Morgana appears in Santa Cruz.
Okay, who's in Santa Cruz? Somebody
people that sleep on the beach.
Part. It's not real. Some fucking
this is a brainworm Frank Duke story.
Brainworms that are going around.
RFK.
I'm having severe brain
vote for me. A worm literally ate some of my brain.
It makes me want to vote for him.
He's like, well, you know.
If you want to see a Fata Morgana, it has to be a clear day. You got to be on the Strait of Messina or some other place like that. No clouds, like just completely flat, nothing in the way of the horizon. You got to be looking at it face on. And it has to be like a winter day. Winter days go better because then the water's cold, but the air is, spring days. Not winter. Spring is better because the air is warm, but the water is still cold from winter. And it has to be an object on the horizon. So a lot of these shipping container ships, you can look out there, and they actually do look like modern day cities because they have those like stacked shipping containers that look like buildings. And they
have lots of people in them escaping their like slave places.
Pirates,
that make them work on all the Amazon stuff.
Yeah, Frank Dukes is there.
Yeah.
And Fred Meyer. Okay, I'm stuck in a loop. So other ones that are like kind of wild is that 20,000 people in New York in early 1900s witnessed one on Lake Ontario that looked like a giant city made of churches, which really was just like a bunch of ships with like the masts, but it stoked the imagination of all these people as like this like magical land beyond the sky. I mean, they knew what it was, but it was like this awesome. I would love to see one. UFOs. There's lots of UFOs that can be explained through this. Especially ones near the beach because they look like they're hovering, and they change shape so much that they can look kind of like anything. Like you're looking at a cloud and you're like, that kind of looks like this. You can
and humans are particularly bad at knowing size, shape, and space of objects in the air, especially further in the distance. So
that is one of my weaknesses. I can't do it. If someone asks me how far away something is, no way.
Most people can't. Even like pilots think they can, but they can't that well because humans just actually aren't good at it. Like you can do it with instrumentation, but without that, you're not that good at it.
And I guess an easy way to see it is using telescopes or binoculars, or binoculars.
Multiple. You have to put 2 telescopes up to your eyes, and then you look out into the horizon.
Just like this. Point them in different directions. I'm going to say one more thing about this.
Yes, please do. I'm all ears.
There's a place called Sannikov Land, and there was this explorer back in like early 1800s from Russia called Yakov Sannikov, which is kind of a dope name.
My man.
My man Yakov. And he and his guys were like, whoa, that's an island. Let's put it on the map. And they named it Sannikov Island because...
Yeah. That's the way it works.
Yeah. it remained on maps for like 100 years, and everyone kept trying to find it, and they couldn't. And they're like, this doesn't even exist.
It's a made-up island.
There was this entire. I went down a pathway, a tabbit hole. Is that what Alyssa calls them? Tabbit holes.
Tabbit hole.
That's
sure.
good. Go TM.
Trademarked.
I went down a tabbit hole of this expedition that they went looking for this island later on, like 75 years later, and they never came back. So there was an entire like.
So they found it, and it was too good to leave.
Yeah, I was gonna say this sounds like an old story of some sort.
Well, this group of people from, I want to say England, but I don't know.
It's always the English. They're trying to find an island and take it over. Let's just assume it's the Brits.
There's an unclaimed island. We're there.
I mean, historical nerd guy here. Don't assume it's just the Brits. I mean, the Spanish are like the number one at this. The Dutch did it. I mean, like, come on.
Well, you're talking to an historical nerd thing, right?
Yeah.
Person.
Yeah.
It was Spanish, English, Dutch. They were the biggest offenders of taking what's not theirs.
France did it too.
Oh yeah, France did it too. But for some reason, I feel like they came through that without as much like.
Americans mostly focus on American atrocities and don't learn other countries' atrocities. So.
We don't learn our own atrocities.
Well,
yeah, that's true.
You learn a few of the good ones. The biggest hits.
Yeah. The biggest hits, like yep.
I don't want to name them because they're not fun.
They're not fun. They're horrible.
Yeah,
we
bad.
live on a country built on blood. Okay.
Well, that's it's all of them. But yeah.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah.
Okay. So the mysterious island.
Miles, let's start a podcast where we talk about atrocities.
Top 10 atrocities.
Number one. It's the History Channel show
all
now.
All this that has happened in
this podcast. Okay. Anyway,
don't cancel me. I agree that atrocities are bad.
We all agree.
Yeah.
No one listens to this. Don't worry.
Pro atrocities. Miles Greb.
So then I got on a list of lost islands, and I'm going to leave it at that because I think I might go deeper into these lost islands.
Oh, there's some good ones.
No, there's some very good ones. Yeah, and that's Fata Morgana. So look up pictures. We'll put some up. It's
those
cool.
are great. Thank you for your science and work.
Oh, you're not going to give us the list of lost islands. I see. I thought you were going to.
I'm saving
give
that.
us an overview.
Tune in next time.
No, I just wanted to make this short and sweet, and I'll touch on some of these islands later. Definitely, I opened like 25 tabs. So
yeah, that's how it works.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, thank you for
I have
your
9 tabs open right now. See,
good job.
Hygienic.
Clean.
You got to protect that random access memory.
I don't care about my random access memory.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't either. That's why I get a lot of RAM when I buy a computer.
All right, what do you got for us?
Okay, mine is a little bit different from your guys's. The title of the article is called "McGruff the Crime Dog Has Been in Prison for a Decade."
Oh, I know his number. We can call him.
Sing it with me. Scruff, McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
I have to say, we got that boy's digits. I'm fucking, let's see what he's doing.
McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652. Do you not remember this, Hannah?
How do I not remember this? I know who he is.
Did you never see? You saw Scruff. Okay, so there was a.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the audience who does not know, if you watched TV in the 80s and 90s, these PSAs played just on repeat, nonstop, over and over and over again. And that song, specifically that ending, is like forever etched into most people's memories. Because he sounds sort of like Clint Eastwood singing at the end of Gran Torino when you go back and listen to it. And it was really, really catchy. So these PSAs featured McGruff the Crime Dog, whose affiliation in retrospect was a bit unclear, I think, because he's dressed like a detective in an old noir movie, but his title was The Crime Dog, which by definition makes him a criminal.
I think it's more like he's dogging crime, you know?
Oh, yeah.
In that case, he should have been the crime dogger.
I got a nose for it, you know?
He should be the crime dogger in that case, but not the crime dog just means you are a criminal.
Ain't the fucking grammar dog. You know, he don't have time for titles and shit. There's people out there doing wrong, and he's trying to fix it.
Rest in peace, grammar dog.
Ingrates. You know, everyone wants better policing. He's out there doing a good job. He's the one guy. I've
never seen him shoot anybody.
No,
That's true.
no of the racism. None of it.
No.
None of it is involved. I hope.
No.
Please don't tell me.
Please, yeah.
Scrub
No
McGruff's
atrocities.
questionable Facebook comments.
Listen, he's got opinions about atrocities as well, but we're not going to get into any of that.
Does he have a one of those shirts with the skull on it and the American flag with the blue line?
Yeah. He's wearing a thin blue line shirt all the time. Anyway, despite years of working in the field and PTSD from having seen some of the worst of humanity, McGruff has this dipshit nephew, Scruff, who parades around without a care in the world, convinced he's going to live forever.
Yeah, Scruff McGruff.
Yeah.
This kid's an idiot. He goes down dark alleyways despite his friend's misgivings. He goes to his other friend, Bobo's house, under the auspices of playing that cool new video game, only to have Bobo bust out his dad's gun and be like, "You want to hold it?"
Oh, I remember that shit. I remember that.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, man,
Absolutely.
I'm never going to play games with that kid.
Exactly.
I don't ever want to go to the
Scruff-
gun house.
And he ponders out loud. He's like, "What'll I do?" Only to have McGruff chime in and simply say, "You'll see," before moving on to the next thing, which I think is so stupid. In
So
that moment,
scary.
he needs guidance from McGruff, but he's just like,
Yeah.
"No, don't worry." And the reason for that is because the entire point of the PSA is that he's trying to get kids to send away for free activity comic book that explains what you're supposed to do in various questionable situations regarding bullying, guns, drugs, hence the song bumper that happens at the end. And I'll get back to that in a second, but which is crazy to me because you're watching these PSAs and if you're a kid, you're like, what am I supposed to do? Like when someone sees a gun and they're like, that's not time for now. You got to write us a letter to this address, which is going to take weeks for us to get it. And then after that,
And
we're
in
going to
the
send you another
meantime,
book. Yeah.
Your friend might shoot you with his dad's gun.
It's
He's
terrible.
not going to
They should've
shoot
just
you. He's
told
going to
you.
wait for you to write a letter. You know, he's respectful.
That's true.
You're
He's
going to
like,
interrupt
you wanna
someone
play
writing a letter.
You want to hold my dad's gun? Hold on, let me get back to you in
just a
4 to
minute.
6 weeks after I send out this letter.
McGruff,
And
should
he's
I
like,
hold the
cool, I'll just
gun?
wait here.
I mean, where I went to school, kids are very respectful of quill and paper. You know, letter writing was a hot
Yeah.
activity. Like, way cooler than pogs.
Or
true.
yo-yos.
The yo-yos were so hot in 5th grade.
Oh,
Everywhere.
they banned
Yeah.
them
Oh,
at my
shit.
school.
banned
were-
yo-yos?
They banned yo-yos. They banned
See-
pogs. They banned Tamagotchis. My school sucked.
I live close to Chico, California, which is where they have like
Oh, yeah.
the championships. So we were like training, you know, we
With
fucking
Frank Dukes?
Well, no, he was not allowed to
He
compete.
was also a
too.
pogo champ.
Yeah.
No, I was in Silicon
So-
Valley, baby. Silicucked. Go on.
Fucking gross.
Silicucked, coming 2025. McGruff was created by Sherry Nemmers and Ray Kravashi under the direction of Jack Keel, Executive Vice President and Creative Director of Dance Fitzgerald Sample. That's the name of the company. Dancer Fitzgerald Sample had been commissioned by the Ad Council. Do you guys remember that logo at the end of those commercials? The Ad Council?
Oh,
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Which was a nonprofit who was first approached by the Department of Justice in 1977 to create a public campaign to engage the public in reducing crime. And the legend goes that Keel was stuck in a Kansas City airport at 3 a.m. and started to think about Smokey Bear. Smokey, you guys remember Smokey Bear, of course.
Oh,
the lead
yeah.
to prevent
Bear
forest
is
fires.
real.
yeah,
That's
I saw
true.
him.
He's a real guy.
Where did you see him? In Utah?
He told
No,
I
he's
don't know.
real. Smokey the Bear
He
is
told
real.
he told me
Yeah.
not to tell anybody.
No, I'm not
Oh, that's
kidding.
true.
Like he actually was a real bear.
Is he
Like,
really?
Also fights.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like
Oh,
he's
I
actually.
was
Go ahead.
joking.
Explain. I didn't know this. What is
Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
the deal with
Smokey the Bear
Smokey?
was a real bear that they found, and like he was a cub that survived the
Wearing blue
wildfire.
jeans and a hat.
Oh.
Look, I don't know what he's wearing at the time. Obviously, he has lost to history. I'm just telling you that Smokey the Bear was an actual real bear that survived a wildfire, and then like they raised the bear, and he was like an ambassador for like, don't burn down the fucking
What?
forest kids. Which, by the way, you
Whoa.
shouldn't do because my house burnt down because of a forest fire. So
I was
I'm
gonna say.
very pro Smokey the Bear. So he's a real guy, actually.
That's cool. I didn't know
Wow.
that. So he's like an
Yeah.
orphan of a tragedy. Interesting.
Wow.
As you said, Smokey was a trusted authority on preventing forest fires, and Keel thought if he could create a Smokey for their mission, he would have a hit on his hands. So he had a couple of different options that he was
Like a
working
hit,
through.
like
yeah, I was thinking he's going to murder
gonna-
somebody.
Murder, yes, an assassin on their hands. No, he would have a popular character. He considered an elephant who could stamp out crime, or a rabbit who was hopping mad about illegal activity, but eventually settled on a
rabbit.
dog who could take a bite at a crime.
See, I like the elephant because he would never forget and never forgive. Right?
No.
Like if you commit a crime, this elephant's coming
never.
for you.
It's over.
And if it was a rabbit, it would just like one noise would send it like running the other way. So that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I think at 3 a.m. in the morning when he's in the Kansas City airport, he decided he's like, you know what, a dog is a good idea. People like dogs.
Airport thoughts.
Airport thoughts, exactly. So Sherry Nemmers and Ray Kaveh, who I said earlier, took this idea and they ran with it. And they described their pitch of McGruff as, quote, someone who was tired. He had seen the world, and he had epitomized all the detectives we have seen, from Raymond Chandler to Dashiell Hammett and even Columbo.
Whoa.
Like, give me the pitch. Who's in your character? Well, he's tired.
He's super.
Just no fucking energy. Kids will love him.
He's weary.
He's over it.
You know that scene at the end of Chinatown? When he's basically stuck in that moment for his whole fucking life. That's the character.
That's McGruff. He can't.
That's him.
He probably has a drinking problem. Who knows? He chain smokes. Speaking of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I feel like he's just Eddie.
What a good fucking movie.
Oh, unbelievable.
So
Have you seen it? You've seen it, yes.
I was thinking of that movie when I was looking at my Bloodsport list, and I was like, we could just never fucking make that movie today. We would just ruin it, and that movie's just so damn good. And even when you watch it and you're older, you're like, I wonder if it still is good. It gets better. It's so
even
good.
better.
It's like
even
a
better.
technical masterpiece.
Oh,
like
it's
the
just
fact that they were
amazing.
able to pull it off blows my mind.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit fan club podcast.
Yeah, right here. What's his name? Richard Williams, I believe, was the animator. That was the animating supervisor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's that term they call, just a little bit of animation history. They call it bump the lamp. Have you guys heard of this?
Mm-hmm.
No.
So the thing is, like, he bumps the lamp in one scene and the lamp starts flying around and then the shadows are going crazy, and that became like this shorthand for how he would talk to Zemeckis and be like, yeah, bump the lamp is like the crazy shit you can do when you're actually animating something that's live action mixed with 2D. And he's like, because most animators, this is his words, not mine. He says, like, most animators are lazy and they don't want to like do all that crap because it's so hard. And he's like, but we would bump the lamp and just try and come up with like the most complicated thing imaginable. So Zemeckis was like really good at just being like, I'm going to fly the camera around everywhere and do all this crazy stuff. And then Williams was like, great, we'll have the animators figure it out. Anyway, that's a story for another day.
Those poor animators are like, I want to go home.
They were like, ah. Yeah, exactly.
There are no homes. There's only Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, exactly.
He's our
but
home.
they gave us a masterpiece. So, what was I saying? And they based a lot of his design on Columbo, specifically at the time, Peter Falk. His design was adjusted accordingly, and now upon his big reveal to the world in November 1979, the character was introduced at a press conference in New York City with the slogan, "Take a bite out of crime," but he did not have a name. He was nameless. And in July 1980, a nationwide contest to name the dog was concluded. I think they were putting it on the back of cereal boxes and stuff.
Different country if they came up with McGruff, because I don't know if you know about the Mountain Dew naming.
Oh, yeah.
Thing.
No, what's the Mountain Dew naming one? I remember Bodie McBoatface with some boat.
The green apple Mountain Dew flavor was up, right? And they let the internet vote on it. Number 3, I think the runner-up was Gushing Granny.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And then I'm saying this on the show. It's a joke. Nobody come at me. The number 1 name was Hitler Was Right Mountain Dew.
Oh my God.
So that's what won the contest. So then they're like, okay,
we don't deserve it. We don't deserve any of it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So don't.
It's like
democracy.
those potato chips too. The potato chips they got to name that were like. Anyway, go on.
I don't remember the potato chips. I'm saying.
I don't either. I only remember half of that story. So
fair enough.
The least funny half.
the least funny half. Exactly. Now I gotta go.
It's like that thing in screenwriting where people like write and they cut to the punchline and everybody laughing. You cut to the setup and just cut the punchline.
So in July 1980, he was finally deemed McGruff the Crime Dog, and the runner-up. Guess what it was?
What?
Just take a guess about what
Fred.
His alternate name. Fred Dukes.
Fred Meyer.
It was Sherlock Holmes.
Ah, boo.
No, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
This motherfucker Scruff McGruff, end of story.
End of story.
Well, Scruff was the nephew. He's McGruff the Crime Dog.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But they're all friends.
Yeah,
they're all friends.
Yeah.
So the winning name was submitted by Officer John Ispel of the New Orleans Police Department, which I don't like that a cop is the one that actually got to name him.
You know?
Yeah.
Even the good boy?
Even McGruff.
McGruff.
And that includes McGruff.
Damn.
I said what I said.
Extremist positions.
This being the Reagan era, everyone in the government loved the idea that drugs were the root of all problems and not bad governing and defunding social programs and all that stuff.
I put a thing in chat
worked
here.
Out great.
There's a picture of him shaking hands with Ronald Reagan. So,
I was going to get to that. Yeah,
so that might, sour you on Scruff McGruff.
Yes, I was actually going to see. I actually have a funny picture of it. Otherwise, no, it's okay. This is how we know McGruff is a sellout.
Wow.
Conversely, I think this picture was really funny. We're jumping ahead a little bit, but it's a picture of him standing behind Dukakis, and Dukakis looks extremely irritated with him.
Well, that's just how Dukakis was,
I am. Is that a cat?
Brutus, get out of here.
I want to see it.
No, he's evil.
Oh, so I have an evil one too.
Yeah.
So
there it is.
McGruff, do you see it finally? Dukakis is not having it.
Hates that dog. Yeah.
He hates him. Could have been a different world if he had been president. And anyway, McGruff was a big hit in regards to brand recognition, and he got more than $100 million of ad time, and space had been donated by mid-1981, because don't forget, it's a PSA, so they didn't have to actually pay for any of this. They're just like, here you go, here's free ad time. So they're like, great, let's do this. So it made McGruff one of the most popular ad council campaigns ever, and as a result of the commercials, over 1 million free booklets had been distributed, another 250,000 were purchased from the government printing office, and the Army printed 300,000 booklets for their own programs as well.
The Army?
By the end of 1981, over 50% of Americans had seen at least one McGruff advertisement, with 1/3 reporting they had seen the advertisements more than 10 times. Interesting that these booklets, so they're kind of comics, right? So if that puts you into comic book world, that makes it comparable to Spawn #1 in terms of how many copies were distributed and kind of owned by people.
Getting Todd McFarlane numbers.
Which is kind of crazy to me, because these books are, they're not super available online, but, it's a hugely successful. I don't know if you call it successful because it doesn't sell anything, but like they're very, very popular. A lot of people had them. And a lot of them are not necessarily available online, but I could find one that was archived properly. And it's called McGruff's Surprise Party from 1989. And in it...
Sounds menacing.
It is.
I think I have some of these books.
You have seen it?
I think I have some of these books.
Oh, are you serious?
Cool. I think I have them still, yeah.
Oh my God, you got to bust them out and let us know. So McGruff's Surprise Party.
Uh-oh, he's like, shh.
Yep. It's not meant to be this way, but that's how he read it. In it, McGruff invites a bunch of underage children to his home for a party, which seems questionable. And he tells them, we're going to throw a surprise party, but he won't tell them who it's for. The kids go out and prep, with some getting balloons, others popping an exorbitant amount of popcorn. And they're all just chilling and getting ready. And the kids go out and they're doing all this stuff. And as they're prepping, they share stories of how they were approached to drink or worse by child drug dealers and my personal favorite, older siblings. That's the one that to me, which is like such a product of the era, because if there's one thing an older sibling wants to do, it's #1, share with you.
Right.
And #2, especially things that will knowingly get them into trouble.
And be associated with you at all.
I'm just like, who wrote this?
They mentioned PCP. They have like a 6-year-old kid mentioning PCP in this comic.
Whoa, dope. That kid's cool.
It's cool, kid. It's cool to do PCP when you're 6.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so there's the cover of this is... He's in a room with a bunch of children, and he's just going doing the shushing.
Shh. Shush. Yeah.
It's really scary looking.
This man in a trench coat. Who knows what he's wearing underneath there, by the way? But
it's a dog. He has fur on his body.
He's got a dot.
He's probably selling Rolexes at the very least that are illegal. But anyway, by the end of the comic, they all reconvene back at the house and getting ready. And then, surprise, the party is for you, the dear reader.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's very sweet.
There better be PCP at this 6-year-old party. I am not happy.
That's the little tote bag that you get to take home afterwards.
Good. Little tiny sample of PCP.
Exactly. So I looked it up because I was curious and like, who produced these books? Because I was like, I wonder who there's somebody was an illustrator for this comic book. Somebody was a writer. We've all worked gigs that we're not like super proud of or like the coolest thing, but we still are professionals and somebody did it. I couldn't find who the writer and illustrator was specifically for this one, but it shows that it was produced by a company called Custom Comic Services in Pennsylvania, whose website was last updated in 2017.
Oh, okay.
Their website looks like it's from like the year 2000. It's very, very old school. And it looks like the people who were producing these comics in the 80s were still running the business.
Nice.
I don't really know. I just sort of wanted to give a shout out to those people. Again,
cool.
They're part of our lineage. They have a comic that's at least as famous as Spawn #1, and they deserve to be in history the same way that Todd McFarlane is. The people who made these these McGruff comics.
Twist, it was Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane!
He would have had a different outfit for sure if Todd McFarlane.
I wanted to make a comic book about McGruff's surprise party and how there was a child molester coming, and that's my best Todd McFarlane
No, it's not bad.
impression.
It's not bad.
And he goes,
he talks.
He always does this. He always snaps in every interview.
Got an idea of Todd
and
McFarlane.
I knew, damn, he's all, the kids need PCP. Boom. I knew how to talk to Reagan. Anyway, back to the original tab. John Morales.
Why didn't he arrest Reagan for Iran-Contra if he's so busy taking a bite out of crime?
I appreciate the shout out to what he did in Iran. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I don't know why. I think because he was in on it, much like the rest. He just let Ollie North be the fall guy. He was like, there. Whatever. Yeah.
See, Smokey the Bear would fucking never.
Never. Right side of history every time.
Meanwhile, he's there with Noriega talking to the army, being like, I think you guys should play Welcome to the Jungle to try and drive him out. Traitor. Anyway, back to the tab. John Morales, the actor who voiced McGruff the Crime Dog in the 90s. So originally it was voiced by, what's his name? The guy who came up with him. I forget his last name again.
Really?
Keel. Originally it was Keel, but then, Keel got busy or whatever, so they had to hire one of these actors.
I mean,
one of the
he's
actors
famous
was
now,
He's making that McGruff money. John Morales has now been in jail for over a decade because in 2011, police discovered 1,000 marijuana plants, 27 weapons, including a grenade launcher, and 9,000 rounds of ammunition in his residence.
God damn it.
The voice of McGruff was hoarding guns.
And a grenade launcher.
Man. I'm saying this is why you need a man like Frank Dukes to deal with crime. You can't trust a fucking canine,
Yeah. A dog?
No.
Hitler had dogs, and they loved him.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can't trust a dog.
The actor was sentenced to 16 years behind bars after pleading guilty to the charges. Morales insisted during the sentencing hearing that he was nonviolent, but U.S. District Judge Vanessa Gilmore said, quote, "Everything I read about you makes you seem like a scary person." End quote.
The judge said that?
The judge said that during a sentencing.
Judges can say anything, I found out.
Yeah, sometimes they can even not do their job and then just delay cases and break the rules.
Oh my God, that's so weird.
True American
Current events. So I'm going to end with a couple of fun facts about McGruff the dog that are on the website. First fact is there are 4,000 active McGruffs, parentheses, number of costumes in use.
Oh.
I don't know why they didn't phrase that differently, but that's what they wrote.
That is a weird way to say it.
Oh, it gets weirder. McGruff has a classy Corvette, a monster truck in Arizona, and a wiener wagon in Florida. I'm not even going to comment on what that is.
You don't know what a wiener wagon is?
In Florida? I don't know what a wiener wagon is. No.
Isn't it the Wienermobile?
I assume. Why does McGruff have it? Why is McGruff inviting kids over to his house for a surprise party and driving around in a wiener wagon? That's what I want to know.
Everything don't gotta be about that. It's not like that he's a priest.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not like he's a priest.
But most of all, he likes to ride in patrol cars assisting law enforcement.
What?
So,
according to the website.
If I ever get arrested, it better be by a guy in a suit. In a McGruff suit.
There's 4,000 of them. One of them can be the ones who arrest you. McGruff's favorite crime-fighting techniques are to teach children specific tips to be safe at home and school and to help law enforcement officers do their jobs better.
Narc.
Yep.
Or
lastly, McGruff is a quote-unquote ham, so he loves doing public service announcements for television and radio or posing for print or billboard advertising. So that's all I got to say
like
about that.
A tired, attention-seeking dog to tell me not to touch that gun. Yeah.
I was Googling McGruff the crime dog, and the one of these things that popped up was McGruff the crime dog, canon death.
Ew.
So, death? Oh, there's like someone wrote a story about how he died?
And apparently he has stats, and we know how fast he can run.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's considered a street level superhero.
Much like Daredevil.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Apparently his weakness is he can't do anything while time is stopped.
While time has stopped? What does that mean?
Neither can I.
He can't do anything. Yeah. Apparently there's a death battle episode with him.
Okay. He showed up on an episode of Family Guy randomly, I read about.
He can run so fast.
How fast does it say?
45 miles an hour.
Dear Lord.
So it looks like on the death battles, he's fought like a Koopa Troopa, a Kuma from Street Fighter, Boba Fett, Zangief, a raptor from fucking Jurassic Park, and Bomberman. Yeah. So, also
Bomberman,
Wily.
That's a throwback.
Wily from
Wile E. Coyote?
Mega Man, not from the Coyote variety.
I see.
Dr. Wily. So there's some people that he's fought, apparently. This is all canon.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. Good. Imagine like trying to run away from him and he just immediately 45 miles an hour.
45 miles an hour running after you.
Tackles you to the ground, just straight into the dirt.
I can't believe he was a reefer head and betrayed America.
Uh-huh.
When was he a reefer head? Oh, you're talking about the actor, not the actual.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought this was more of the canon that you were reading from.
No, it's not in the canon. I don't.
Yeah,
believe.
I thought so too. I was like, interesting.
No, it's just shame when American heroes fail because they are addicted to the weed stuff. Just like Michael Phelps let us all down.
Yep.
Funny enough, I did think about this too. Between this and Dare, they raised a generation of kids who grew up to essentially try to decriminalize most drugs. So the thing that gives me solace is that it completely backfired with a lot of stuff.
Completely.
You know what's funny? I never did drugs, and maybe it worked on me.
Yeah.
Because it's rough, and you got the books.
I got a free T-shirt. It was a black T-shirt. Looked good in it, you know.
Yeah.
Looked pretty cool, black and red, and you know, and I've been straight edge ever since. So maybe the propaganda got to me. I don't want to lock people up for weed though, so I don't know.
Dare definitely scared me.
Scared you straight or whatever? No, scared.
Yeah, I also didn't know where to get it. Utah. Where? Go into the mountains and hope you find
your
somebody's
older
stash?
sibling, Hannah. Apparently, clearly,
I'm
your older
the
sibling
oldest.
was always doing drugs. Anyway, that's my tab.
Awesome.
That concludes my section of Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois 60652. Shout out to John Morales with his grenade launcher. And that's
his right as an American to have a grenade.
That is his right as an American to have a
Last I checked, we had a Second Amendment
weapon.
Yeah,
that could take out a group of people. You know,
I can only assume that he used that Scruff McGruff money to purchase that.
Yeah, for sure.
And drugs. So they laundered money through this man to purchase drugs. Anyway, okay. So
Incredible.
Now it's the time of the show where we have to close our tabs.
Yeah.
Miles, what do you think would be a fun sound effect for us to play as we close it?
A grenade launcher.
I could play you the song I wrote.
Oh, that's right.
You wrote us a song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. I have it in a tab.
Like you pre-recorded it?
No, I don't know if it will sound good.
So you can actually.
On this
we'll
microphone.
try it. And if it doesn't, then we'll cut it.
Embarrassed to play it.
I'm very excited.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see if it sounds good. Sometimes my mic messes up with audio. See if I'm on key. Hold on. I'm embarrassed to sing this song.
I won't look.
I totally understand. Yeah, do you want us to look away? Should we turn off the cameras?
No, I don't care. If you see something to click on, you don't have to read it now. You don't have to use your favorites. Use a tab. 500 500 tabs, 500 tabs, 500 tabs, 500 more.
Yes!
Miles! Are you kidding?
Browser 1 and browser 2, browser 3 and browser 4. I'm 500 tabs away from my home page. 500 tabs, 500 tabs, 500 tabs, 500 more. I am 500 tabs away from my home page.
Yeah!
That's the song.
Oh
Speaking of the other movie
Dude,
I constantly talk to Hannah
that was
about.
amazing. That was truly amazing.
I was just dicking around last night, and yeah, I don't know if that records well, but
Well, we have a new intro.
It's excellent. That's that's a variation on 500 Miles, which is also an Inside Llewyn Davis, Hannah, which is what I always talk to you about. So Miles has hit the two movies that I talk to you about all the time by that's amazing that you hit both of them in the same episode.
I just know what's going on.
Discussing it. Apparently,
I
you got a sixth sense.
going on. Yeah.
Or we just meet people who are just like us at every convention.
That's true.
Yeah. I think we became friends because I started quoting wizard people.
That is exactly. And I was able to quote it right back, and you've never met anybody who can. Anyway, watch Wizard People, dear reader.
The Lament of Roast Beefy O'Weefy.
Roast Beefy.
Whoa.
Oh, Weefy. I tried showing Kaveh, and he was like, I don't. I'm like,
I don't even remember. When
it.
did you try showing me? I don't even remember this.
It was like late at night. I was staying at your house, and I was like, you like Harry Potter? And he was like, absolutely not. I was like, not. Let's try. And it did not work.
As I said to you, I think at that point, I'm like, I missed I was too old for Harry Potter when it came out. I was like, I don't get it.
Just missed it.
I get it. It's fine. It just was like, it wasn't part of my identity the way that it was for so many people.
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
That is such a Slytherin thing to say.
Yeah, right.
just kidding. I don't know.
That was a fantastic song. I don't want to close tabs over it because it's a good song.
I loved that.
I love it.
That love made my week.
Too.
Oh wow, that's so nice of you to say.
We will have to do
song.
Whenever we get to a level where we have live shows. We're gonna have Miles come on tour with us, and then we'll sing that live. And we can harmonize.
Can we have someone edit our live shows live? Because I don't trust myself to be able to not say a lot of things. That's an incredible strain on
Alyssa's wrists to be doing it.
She silences the microphones when she feels I might be going too far by saying
no ability to fight when time is stopped. So you can't edit without
sacrifice.
It all comes around together.
Well, we're going to close our tabs because this is still part of our tradition. Hannah, what do you have an idea for closing them? Should it be a dog running at 45 miles an hour?
No, grenade launcher. Grenade launcher. Does it sound any different than other things?
Yeah, it goes and then because it's a big tube. It goes,
right. We could do like a cartoonish one where it's like.
Oh, that works too. Yeah, Miles, do you have your tabs ready?
Yeah,
I opened one more tab about Smokey the Bear's true story. I'll close it.
I opened Fred Meyer. I opened. Okay. Oh, jeez.
Miles, you can count us down. Tab. You can count us down 3, 2, 1.
4.
We'll close them.
3, 2, 1.
Close it.
Okay.
Moving on. We are on to listener emails. Hannah, I believe you're up first for our
I'll go
emails.
first. All right, so this is from Lauren from Denver, Colorado, and it's titled Cow Waterbeds. I've just started listening to the podcast because a friend recommended it to me.
Hell yeah.
So asking to share the podcast with your friends is working, for sure at least once. Yes. My tab.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. My tab from apartment therapy about waterbeds and how people don't buy them anymore, but they still have a very niche market. I always keep the tab open for when the question of whatever happened to waterbeds comes up. Weirdly, it's come up more often than you'd think. At its peak in the 1980s, 1 of every 5 mattresses sold were waterbeds. But they quickly began to disappear in the 90s when people realized their not inconsiderate flaws. Hard to fill and drain, cumbersome to move, and worst of all, they can leak. I remember back in the day, landlords writing in apartment listings, no pets, no waterbeds. I remember that. There is, however, a market in the U.S. for waterbeds. Dairy cows. It's a little It's a little different from the waterbeds of old, being mostly a water-filled pad on the ground for cows to lie on, but it helps reduce sores and joint pain for cows while in the milking parlor. Don't know what a milking parlor is?
That's what I like to call my office. Oh, wow. That sounded way grosser than I meant it to.
Yeah. We're keeping that in. Even though I don't really drink dairy milk anymore, I do like the idea of cows having a comfy place to rest. So kudos to farmers for buying these weird relics of a bygone bed era. Love the podcast, Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren.
I want to see a cow on a waterbed.
I'm sure it seems like we're going to get a bunch of drawings or memes about that in the Discord pretty soon.
And I think you need to put a sign on above your computer that says the milk parlor.
The milk parlor? I too don't drink milk, which makes it funny.
I drink milk because I'm a good American boy.
Yeah, you are. Good old milk boy. Okay, email number 2.
Hold on. No, well, we gotta change some words around here. I write you guys a song. You fucking.
Oh no! Oh. I did earlier say I'm gonna kill you. I didn't mean that. It just comes out of my mouth.
That's how we show affection.
True. So.
No, that is how we show
Frank
affection.
Dukes.
Yeah, I'm filing a police report.
With Scruff
better be
McGruff.
Gruff.
Yeah, I know who to call.
Okay, email number 2 is from Sophie from New Mexico.
Oh, cool.
Dear Kaveh and Hannah. Hi, Sophie. Dear Kaveh and Hannah, love the pod. I followed Kaveh over from Musical Splaining, and I have no regrets. Thank you for following.
So many people. Truly appreciate it.
It's deeply embarrassing. I'm sorry to continue to disappoint you, but thank you for going on to the next show. Anyway,
yeah.
Hannah's etymology tabs and the not safe for work animal facts sent in by another listener. I believe that was Paul. Shout out to Paul.
Yeah.
Did you talk about hyena penises?
No. Uh-oh.
Okay. We talked about pig orgasms, I believe is what it was.
Yeah.
Hyena penises. Okay.
I'm sorry. I assumed that had to be a top one.
Please describe what you're seeing.
It's all female spotted hyenas have functional penises.
The females also have penises?
Mm-hmm. They use it to pee, signal, and... Oh, okay. Go look it up. Go look it up.
I'm sorry.
How am I supposed to read the rest of this listener email not knowing what that third thing was?
Well, she said not safe for us animal facts. That's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, oh, yeah, fucking hyena penis. Great story.
Yeah.
Okay.
They use it to dominate everybody.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not safe for work animal facts sent in by Paul reminded me of a mystery that I open a new tab on every couple of months. The lioness upon the cheese grater.
Huh?
The lioness upon the cheese grater is an act mentioned on an ancient Greek brothel menu, where is the most expensive item offered. In Aristophanes' play Lysistrata, do you guys know this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got second in Shakespeare in high school. Of course she knows it.
I don't know. It's Greek brothel. I didn't necessarily think that was...
She knows about Greek brothel. She's not racist against the Greeks like somebody.
Like you. I'm not racist against any Greeks.
I keep all the jokes
Greek
running and going, you know.
Thank you.
That's what we love most. We really have to be careful. And now I'm like, worried the Greeks are going to be mad at me.
They should.
Greeks are wonderful.
Thanks for inviting me on. Thanks for inviting me on your show.
We love to have you. A group of women who go on a sex strike to force their husbands to end a war pledge to not, quote, adopt the lioness on the cheese grater position. What exactly the lioness upon the cheese grater has been lost to history.
No!
So scholars have been arguing about arguing what it means for hundreds of years. Apparently, ancient cheese graters often had crouched lions carved on them for decoration because cheese graters were prized and expensive. So a crouching position based on the cheese grater lions was the main theory up through the 19th century. Some more recent scholars theorize that the lion signifies strength, and the cheese grater references a cheese grating-like motion, like this.
Oh. Thanks for the demonstration.
Yeah. Others believe that the lioness upon the cheese grater was an intentionally ridiculous-sounding joke made up by Aristophanes, like an ancient urban dictionary term. I like the idea that we're all being trolled through time by the ancient Greeks. So this is my favorite theory. If I had a time machine, I would immediately learn ancient Greek and go bother people about the lioness upon the cheese grater. And then there's a link to the tab included. Sending good vibes, Sophie from New Mexico.
I'm pretty partial to the joke hypothesis. We talk about this a lot on my podcast because we talk about ancient stuff. There, a lot of times people assume kind of like a sanctimoniousness to older people, but they were just a stupid bunch of idiot fuckers like we are, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
It's like art history. Being in an art history class, they're like, why did they use this color? I'm like, as an artist, I don't know. I don't think they cared.
One of the oldest written things we have, like the second oldest written thing we have, is a joke about women farting.
That's right.
You know, like
the oldest joke that we have. I don't know this woman farting oldest joke. What is it? Can you tell us?
One of
Just
the oldest
the woman
written
farts
ones.
a lot. That's like all it is. It's just
that's just the joke. There's no setup.
They're not. It's very primitive. You know, they're learning. They found out farts are funny. They just figured it out.
I see. There's no structure.
You know. Or like, you know, the very first image ever of Jesus is Jesus with a big donkey head, a Jesus follower with a big donkey head on his head.
Whoa.
You know? Because they're like, he's an ass. You know, like
it's like a political cartoon.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of stupid shit. And everyone's like, oh, the people in the past are like, oh, we're from the past. We're so serious. We have swords. But they're just a bunch of goobers.
They're the same as us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same as us.
All right. Well, that one was wonderful. If you also have an email that you'd like to have us read on the show, please email us at 500opentabs@gmail.com. That's 500. Please let us know what you learned from it, like a fun fact. Let us know where you're from, and most importantly, include the link. And that about takes us to the end of the show. We would like to give you a special shout out. Miles, thank you so much for taking the time to, number one, write us a song, which in and of itself would have been more than enough, but also to do the episode. It's wonderful.
Yeah. People can find me on Twitter at Gold Rush Comic, or I'm the only Miles Greb in the world, so I'm very easy to find.
I'm Neely Hillam.
Hell yeah.
Actually, there's one more, but
I write several good comic series. You can buy those from me on my website, which is afterthegoldrush.space. They got words and pictures in them. They're fucking fantastic.
Words and pictures.
That's what I'm saying. High technology. Same technology that McGruff used, actually, to save children's lives. I use to this day. And I got my podcast. I co-host with Trey the Explainer of YouTube. And we talk about weird stuff in history. But we're like, materialist, scientific skeptic people, so we don't know bullshit, but we talk about the weird stuff in history, right? And then we watch an episode of Monster Quest at the end of each episode, like a treat. And we talk about what they go through. And we've had the producer of Monster Quest on the show before, and him and I are friends, so we get like the perspective of the believers as well.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what we do, and that's what I do. And I like you guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
We like you too. Do you have any more do you have anything coming up that you want to plug? Any books that are about to come out, or something that people should keep an eye out for?
Conventions.
So my full graphic novel of Puck the Artist, which is about a world where artists can draw things into existence, but color was stolen long ago, but nobody knows that. That story will be out nationally, Barnes & Noble's, Amazon, and everything at the end of the year.
Awesome.
200-page big one. And sometime in the summer, I'll be doing a special edition hardcover re-release of Clovis because I've completely sold out of it. That's my paleontology comic set in North America 12,000 years ago.
I was going to say is it about the Clovis people of
it's about
Fresno area?
It's about a fictional mother of a real life
tournaments there.
person, Anzik one, who was a dig site we found, and so it's hit the mother of that child. It's her story.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I need to read that.
Yeah, that comic is completely sold out, unfortunately, but we're going to be doing a special edition reprint of it this summer. So
cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah. That's me. Stuff
Miles,
I do.
You're so funny. You're so fun to have. Wow. Thank you for coming.
Thanks. My second grade teacher did not agree. She's like, you talk too much.
Neither did mine.
Neither did mine. I got in trouble all the time.
Yeah.
You're in good company.
What was it? We had like a color system, and I'd always have the red card instead of a green one.
She's like, you're always making jokes and talking too much. I'm like, that's because all you guys' jokes suck. I'm trying to lift up the room. We're all working.
Podcasts have not been invented yet. We're trying to
almost
make it a thing.
Close,
yeah.
Of course.
Oh, you can follow
Hannah,
us.
Go ahead.
You can follow us at 500 Open Tabs on Instagram and Twitter. And I'm Hannah Hillam, at Hannah Hillam on everything. And I have a book coming out, so just go to my Instagram, and there's a link to the pre-sale. I'll be at San Diego.
Yeah, I'll be in Spokane Comic-Con, but it's happening that weekend, so. Yeah.
I will also be in San Diego. But June 5th, the weekend that this is released, for those of you who are listening to the show, I'm actually going to be in San Francisco for an event that at the time of recording, I don't have the exact details, but it's going to be June 8th, which is this Saturday. It's going to be somewhere in the city. It's going to be a book event for my former co-host, Lindsay Ellis's new book. She very graciously asked me to be in conversation with her that night. So
I read her first book. It's good.
Oh, yeah. Did you read the second one?
Not yet.
The second one's got my name in it.
Oh, shit.
What?
One of the characters is named Kaveh.
Aliens in the aughts. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Exactly.
I like it.
So the third one's coming out. So she's doing a tour for it, and then I'm going to be doing a conversation with her in San Francisco on June 8th. If the details, which I'm giving right now, are not clear, go ahead and look on my Instagram, which is at PermaFriends. I'll be posting about it. We'll probably post it in the Discord for anybody who's in the area that wants to come, which, by the way, you should join our Discord if you haven't done so. They're in the show notes. And I'll probably post something on Twitter about it because I need to every once in a while, but I more or less don't care about Twitter anymore.
We should do a live show while you're up here.
Maybe we'll do a live show this week.
Live stream.
Yeah, not a live show. all three people that listen to this podcast will be like, hey, how's it going?
Hey.
It's just our friends. Yes, TBD on the details of that, but definitely June 8th in San Francisco. Come see me. I'd love to see your beautiful faces, and I'm sure that
you guys
probably want to see Lindsay.
Come on my show if you want.
Okay.
We would love to.
But you do have to watch an episode of Monster Quest.
That's fine.
I thought you were going to say we have to write a song, but I don't think I'm going to be able to write one that's as good as yours.
No, nothing.
Yeah. That's all right.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Thank you again to Miles. We will see you guys at the next episode, and keep it Josie, everybody.
Oh, yeah, keep
Goodbye,
it Josie.
Everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.